Joining us now to talk about Senator John McCain's legacy is the chair of the California State Republican Party, Jim Brulte. Good morning, Jim. Thank you so much for coming in this morning. We appreciate your time.
Happy to be here.
So, first of all, I think an Arizona newspaper, I saw a headline this morning, I think they summed it up so beautifully. They simply said, political giant, Arizona legend. How do you respond to that this morning, Jim?
Well, there's no doubt about it. The state that gave us Barry Goldwater, who really kicked off the modern-day conservative movement, followed up with John McCain, who not only was a war hero, a lot of people go to war, but as a prisoner of war, he was offered the opportunity to leave, and he didn't. He didn't want to leave until everybody left, and that makes you pretty special. But he's been in politics for 35 years, and his legacy and impact will be felt for a very long time.
And Jim, most of us just have to listen to stories, but you met him and worked alongside of him and against him at times. Give us a little idea of your personal experience with him.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I always admired and respected Senator McCain. He had a wicked sense of humor, which I find appealing. In 2000, I was the co-chair of the Bush campaign in California. We had built a fairly strong organization nationally. We went into Iowa and won. And then John McCain absolutely crushed us in New Hampshire. He just whipped us like nothing you've ever seen before. We recovered, went down into South Carolina and won. And then he came back up in Michigan and crushed us. So I actually think he made George W. Bush a better candidate. And his leadership in the Senate made George W. Bush a better president. And for that, I'll always be grateful. In 2008, I had the opportunity to be one of the delegates that nominated Senator McCain for president. I think he would have been a great president, but some things just don't happen.
And we know that one of his last votes was against repealing Obamacare. Of course, he crossed party lines, and that was kind of something that he was known for, was working with partners across the aisle for causes or policy that he may have believed in.
Yeah, I think Senator McCain was disappointed that there's not a lot more bipartisanship in government. It's a trend that began basically in the 90s, away from cooperation, and it really accelerated in 2000. And I think Senator McCain was disappointed that we as Americans couldn't find common ground, either in the House of Representatives or the U.S. Senate. He's a great man, and he'll be sorely missed by many people.
And just as so many of us are remembering him in different ways, knowing him personally, you mentioned his wicked sense of humor. What else will you remember most about Senator John McCain?
You know, strength of character and courage of convictions. Too many people go into government, into politics, and they stick their finger in the wind to try to figure out which way the wind blows. You know, John McCain always stood his ground. He always believed in principle. He was a man who was happy to do what he thought right when it was popular, and he was happy to do what he thought right when it was unpopular. And we need a lot more people like that in government today.
Wonderful sentiments. Jim Brulte, thank you so much. Chairman, of course, the California Republican Party. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time this morning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, tributes continue to pour in for the late Senator John McCain, and we will continue to update you throughout the morning here on KCAL 9 and KCAL9.com.